The relationship between us and domesticated animals is very, very special. And the great thing about chickens is they're one of the few animals that can provide us breakfast without me having to break its neck, okay? And the thing I like about chickens is there's a connection between chickens and cannabis. Cannabis is one of the fastest growing plants in terms of what you put into it and what it creates. And meat chickens, or as we call them, not layers, but meat chickens, in 9 weeks, you have a finished product. They're very, very quick. And so I'm just going to tell you, for the ones that are not meat chickens, the ones that are layers, little layer chickens are like chihuahuas with fucking wings, okay? They will come, they'll sit on your lap, you can pet them, they're cute as fuck. Everybody should have some chickens. So without further ado, I felt like Independence Day deserved an article about bipartisan work. And so let's get down to something that seems relatively simple, straightforward, efficient, and a step in the right direction. My article today is from WEMU.org. Bipartisan package seeks to unify recreational and medicinal cannabis licensing. This is by Colin Jackson, published today. New Michigan legislation would combine licensing for medical and recreational marijuana retailers into one. It would mark a significant change for the current system, which requires businesses that serve both medical and recreational users to have separate licenses. Representative Graham Filler, Republican, co-sponsored the package. He said times have changed since voters approved a medical marijuana ballot measure in 2008 and a recreational marijuana one in 2018. Recreation is 99% of the market or so. Essentially, med is dead a little bit, and yet people still have to buy specific licenses. We have a whole CRA division for med, Filler said. Let's modernize, okay? The new licensing system would take effect in March of 2026. At that point, previously awarded medical licenses that haven't expired would receive a new generic title. For example, a provisioning center would simply become a marijuana retailer. Local governments would have a chance to block medical marijuana dispensaries from expanding their operations as long as they do so before the March 2026 deadline. This isn't the first attempt at reworking the state's cannabis regulations. In 2021, legislation to do so faced stiff opposition from home caregivers. Filler said an issue with that legislation was that it tried to do too much. He said this time around, lawmakers are keeping the bills limited in scope and working with activists and other stakeholders. That's how democracy is supposed to work. In this one, the industry's actually going to benefit. It's going to be streamlined. So why would they push back on something that's kind of a down-the-middle bipartisan push, Filler said. At the outset, the legislation could face two major challenges. One being timing. Lawmakers are already on their summer break now and aren't likely to take up many large pieces of legislation ahead of the November general election. The second is a requirement that it receives 3/4 supermajority vote to pass both chambers of the legislature. That is because it would amend laws that voters enacted through ballot initiatives. Filler said he doesn't expect Democrats having any problems understanding the issues that the bills are trying to address. Meanwhile, he said he believes the Republicans in the narrowly split legislature can get behind the policy too. I think I'll be okay in the Republican caucus because I think words like modernization and efficiency and cutting the red tape, streamlining the process, that's how we speak, and that's what we think about, Filler said. This is Yarrow Kubrin, High at 9 News, with what I think is a great article about bipartisan cooperation, streamlining, reducing costs of business, and addressing the needs on both sides of the aisle. I'd like to hear what my other panelists, pundits, and guests think here today on Independence Day.
I mean,
how unifying will it be, though?
I agree. I agree with you, Yarrow. I mean, this to me seems like a no-brainer.
I also agree. Chickens are amazing.
Chickens are amazing.
I hope they don't play chicken with passing this bill, though. I mean, anytime we can reduce costs, increase patient access, the only difference in my mind between medical and non-medical cannabis is that I believe medical cannabis shouldn't be taxed at all, and I believe that recreational cannabis should be taxed a lot less than it currently is. But if we can reach across the aisle, find those middle grounds, get a few things done. I'm not a big proponent of incrementalism, but some incrementalism makes sense, especially when you can get everybody on board with sensible modifications to policy.
Hot take.
Mm-hmm.
Super hot take. Go for it.
Chickens ain't scared.
Oh, man.
Chickens ain't scared. Chickens ain't. I hope they're ultimately successful with this, and I don't see why they wouldn't be. I mean, but at the same time, a lot of the times in politics, things seem so simple, but yet are the hardest things to get accomplished.
Especially in Michigan. Michigan's a very complicated state when it comes
I know.
to politics.
We still haven't even found out what happened with that $40,000 from the veterans.
Uh-oh.
We still haven't found out what happened to that lawsuit that ended up saying you can't sue anybody in cannabis because it's federally illegal.
Exactly. A whole bunch of stuff going on. We're still monitoring in Michigan.
That happened in Colorado, too.
Big Gretch, holding it down. Big Gretch. Anything else on this?
Yeah, Dale, Jenny, you got any 2 cents?
Oh, man.
Yeah, well, I'm hopeful, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
You're not going to hold your breath. Yeah. You're not. See, Dale, I feel you. I understand exactly how you feel. I understand.
Why did the chicken cross the road?
Too often and deal with
Because
these
there was bipartisan support on the other side of the road.
Yep.
Booth carts. Booth carts.
The government handling cannabis could fuck up a wet dream. That's my closing comment.
It can turn it into a dry nightmare.
Speaking of that dream,
boy.
Jenny, what do you think about this article?
Oh, boy. Well, I'm glad I gave it to you, not Rico, because we're not going to let Rico talk about party politics ever. But I think, party politics fucks everything up. It's almost like our first president should have warned us about that and his, oh, wait.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens.